We've just been in a special report as this breaking news crossed right as we were coming on the air this morning, Hoda, that Prince Philip, the husband of Queen Elizabeth, has died at the age of 99.
Yeah, he was in the hospital. He was released 3 weeks ago and he went home, and a lot of us were wondering what that actually meant. Well, we have confirmed that he has passed away. We're gonna continue our coverage.
It's news that will, of course, reverberate throughout the world, and we've been just starting our reflections this morning on the impact that this man had on the United Kingdom, but also the entire nation. Let's go to Richard Engel, who covers foreign affairs for us. And Richard, let's start with your thoughts about the Duke of Edinburgh, his contribution, and what his passing will mean.
So it will certainly captivate this country's attention. Now we are going to have a royal funeral. Not exactly sure when that will take place. He has been a fixture in this country for 70 years. That is how long they were married. The longest serving royal consort. Actually, his marriage to Queen Elizabeth II was the first state event after World War II. So his life and their milestones have been part of this country's history, part of the royal family's history. He originally is from a Greek and Danish royal family. He gave up those titles to become part of the British royal family. He has 4 children, 8 grandchildren, 10 great-grandchildren. This will also highlight the troubles within the family, because over the last several weeks, there's been a lot of discussion about the infighting within the royal family with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And there was a lot of anger in this country because of those tensions, because they were so highlighted in the media, highlighted in that famous Oprah Winfrey interview. And people thought, or some people thought, it was distasteful because people saw this coming. They knew that he was fragile, and they thought that he was dying. And now the palace has confirmed that he has passed away.
And let's talk, Richard, about his contribution. We were just speaking with a British historian about some of the moves he made early on. We take them for granted now, those of us who were growing up in more modern times, about how much we know about the royal family, the images, the kind of tabloid culture. It was not always so. And Prince Philip, I mean, who knows how he felt about it later in life, having opened Pandora's box in some sense, but was really one to invite the cameras in and try to modernize the royal family, but he was doing so to keep it relevant so that it could, from his perspective, as I understand it, so that it could keep going and that the British public would continue to support the monarchy.
So Queen Elizabeth, in this statement, said that he was always a companion, a constant source of support and strength. And yes, he did try and bring the family more into the public eye. There was a sense that the royal family was increasingly secluded, increasingly isolated, and he famously brought the media in to meet the royals. And then, of course, the royal family has gone on to regret that decision, and many of the royals believe that they are hounded by the media, as is played out with Princess Diana, and is playing out once again with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
As you pointed out, Richard, he was not only the prince, he was also a father, he was a grandfather, he was close with his children and his grandkids, and as one of our historians was pointing out, especially close with Harry in this moment.
Yes, and that is why it is seen to be especially painful. This country is also going through a royal transition. He was 99 years old. They had been married for more than 70 years. But Queen Elizabeth herself is 94. So there is an expectation that in not so long of the future, there will be a royal transition to Prince Charles. So this could be the start of that transition. This was anticipated, but the older generation is planning to pass the torch. And then there is the question about the turmoil in the younger generation. When Prince Harry left here, went to California, and then had this very public dispute about would he keep his titles, would he keep his salary, how much responsibility and royal duties would he have. It was against this backdrop of a royal family that is in a generational shift and in transition that what we are seeing right now.
Yeah, one can imagine that Prince Prince Philip was none too happy to see all of this dirty laundry spill out into the public. That is not, of course, what he would want for the royal family, or for any family for that matter.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.